Welcome to the Coaches Chat. I'm John Serenitas, and I'm joined this week by Springfield Central coach Valdamar Brower. Coach Brower, how are you this evening?
I'm doing tremendous. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. The weather's been great, so I might actually use the word tremendous myself. I think I'm doing tremendous, given that we've had a nice stretch of weather here. We're coming down the stretch with school, so that's always nice, as you can attest. We're doing well on our end, and I know you guys are doing well on your end. And like I said to you before we went live, I want to thank you for taking time to join us as our first guest. Now that we're starting up the Coaches Chat again, and of course we're coming off the Fall 2 season, which was interesting to say the least. Talk a little bit about what the season was like for you guys. Every coach, it seems, has a different story in regards to the Fall 2 season and how it went for them. How would you say it went for you guys?
For Springfield Central High School, I think we made the best of the situation. It was a roller coaster of a season. Are we going to have a schedule? We're not going to have a schedule. We're going to have a season. We're not going to have a season. So everything was really last minute. A lot of lack of communication for, the uncertainty of the times. So it was a roller coaster. Once we got settled in and figured out who was opting out, who was opting in, got through COVID testing. Our student athletes just got back into Central High School on Monday. So when you started about school just winding down, I'm looking at school winding up because we're re-engaging. We are re-engaging our students. We're trying to get them to come to school. We're trying to get back to Springfield Central High School hallway norms, expectations, classroom expectations, and for the class of 2024. Walk through the hallways and know what Springfield Central is all about. So this Fall 2 season was a roller coaster. I think our coaching staff, got to give them a lot of credits, and a support staff. We did everything we possibly could to have the seniors have the best experience they could, and to have the underclassmen have the best experience they could, and get through this season is inappropriate because obviously we celebrated every single moment being together because we weren't together that often throughout COVID. But we made the best of every single day, and I didn't regret 1 minute of it, and very thankful to be able to spend time with the seniors as much as we were able to during the Fall 2 season.
You mentioned games and finding games, and I think that was an issue for coaches throughout the state. And of course, everybody had a schedule, but then things changed. Obviously, different leagues did different things. Coaches were able to scramble and pick up games if other programs had COVID issues. But talk a little bit about finding games for you guys. Obviously, that was a challenge. You had a chance to play, I believe, what did you play? 3 games? Is that accurate?
We did. That is accurate. We ended up playing a total of three games. Minnechaug, home and away, and I mean home 2 times. One time they wore their away jerseys white, and one time they wear their green jerseys at Central, just to help with our underclassmen huddle highlights to make it look a little different because it was a different game. But we did not play in Minnechaug twice, and we were able to play Long Meadow once. So a total of 3 games, varsity games.
Yeah, and like I said, I think a lot of coaches will tell you that obviously there were a lot of challenges associated with it, but it's in the rearview mirror now. Again, and I agree with you wholeheartedly to give the seniors in particular the opportunity to get on the field one more time and play together, no matter how many games it is. Obviously, that's special. But moving forward now, obviously the expectation is we're going to have a normal fall season. It appears that way. That the state is going to a 100% outdoor reopening on May 29th. So no masks. It seems like we're going to have a normal fall. And certainly for you guys, you've been one of the best programs in the state in recent years, and expectations are high as always. And you're certainly playing up to those expectations with your schedule. Talk a little bit about what it was like putting it together, because coaches now, especially with this new playoff format and the new division setup, they're going to have to beef up their schedules because of the way they're going to be able to get ranked and get points. Talk about how you went about putting together this schedule, which on the front end is probably as good as any schedule in the Northeast when you look at Central Catholic, BC High, and, of course, IMG Academy.
Yeah, so the schedule was a serious challenge. And Central Catholic is amazing program, amazing coaching staff, and a group of amazing kids. And the more I'm learning more about them, the respect level is unbelievable. And it's almost like they're very similar to us, even though we're inner city school and they're a Catholic school. But the way that they work and the way that they grind, and the way they treat their kids, and the way they run their program. We had a 2-year agreement with Central Catholic. We went out there and learned about a lot about their program really quick, and disappointing ending, but obviously a great learning experience. And then the uncertainty of fall 2020, they were going to fulfill their agreement. We went out there. They're coming to Springfield. Through COVID, we went out there in fall 2019. They're gonna fulfill their agreement. They're coming to Springfield 2021. So that's our opponent for the first game, and that's where all our coaches' focus is, and obviously with how the schedule is laid out and who's on the schedule, our kids are all over the place. But like I said, we just started getting our kids re-engaged on Monday. And that's the first time we've been in school since March 12th, 2020. So it's like a re-engagement renaissance. We're really focused on getting our kids in. We're really focused on getting our kids into the weight room, really focused on having different energies and different excitements and different things to look forward to move past history and not to forget fall 2 season, but fall 2 season was a history, and hopefully we never play spring high school football again. If we do, it's only practices. But
Right.
it was
That would be nice.
Yes, that definitely would be nice. Especially for the future New England football and the opponents that we're playing and the opponents that we're playing have those opportunities. But to celebrate history like we did during fall 2, but also re-engage our Springfield Central student body. And you'd be able to use the weight room and hopefully soon be able to use the locker room and prepare for the fall of 2021 season and get back on track to a traditional football program year-round calendar.
Obviously we talked about building a schedule and how difficult that can be. When you talk about building a schedule and finding schools that are going to play you guys, obviously you're coming off of back-to-back Super Bowls. It's hard to find opponents. Let's face it. When you're a program that's a good program year in and year out, it's hard to find teams to play you. What compelled you to go out of state to play a program like IMG?
So obviously got to respect Central Catholic again for filling that agreement. Got to give Central Catholic as much credit as possible. Weeks 2 and 3 were open, right? And we were uncertain. Obviously we were uncertain with the fall 2 schedule, trying to find games during that, but and celebrating the seasons like we talked about earlier, but also looking ahead and getting back to the normal calendar. So we had 2 open dates, September 17/18, September 24/25. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Football Scoop. Football Scoop is a great informational for coaches. So a couple years back when we were in a similar situation, we ended up playing Bishop Sullivan. And what I did was I asked our athletic director, Dwayne Early, for permission to put our open dates on Football Scoop. I know our AD, Dwayne Early, reached out to a number of Massachusetts teams, but I think because COVID and the uncertainty of fall 2, so many people were focused on the day-to-day process and falling and figuring out games for Friday or Saturday and getting through COVID testing or whatever. They weren't really looking to fall 21. And with so much uncertainty, it was almost like nobody really wanted to do that because they didn't know what it would look like. So what would travel restrictions look like? So as once I posted it, and I forgot the exact date, put it on Football Scoop. This company, Prep Logistics, Gridiron Logistics, there's the one that linked us up with Bishop Sullivan back in the fall of, I believe, 2017. So they must be all over Football Scoop. And obviously we had a good history, and Bishop Sullivan was coming up here, and we learned a lot, and we were able to play a game. That learning experience helped a lot because, in order to host Bishop Sullivan, it ended up costing our football program about $9,000 between
Wow.
hosting them and getting them hotel rooms and food. So it was a great learning experience, but obviously it was motivational. I think they had a linebacker that was going to Ohio State. They had a lot of guys that were there. So it was really, really cool to see how the coaches reacted once we had them on the schedule and how the kids reacted to the commitment to the weight room and understanding. So it helped change the program as far as expectations and scheduling. And obviously, we don't want a bye week. So we were able to fill that bye week back then. So to get back to how we got IMG is the guy from Prep Logistics Gridiron sent me a spreadsheet of all open dates, all the schools throughout the country that were having difficulty filling their schedule. IMG was on there for both of our dates. So I kind of looked at it and didn't think of it because there was a team from Ohio, there was a team from Maryland, there was a couple of teams, and I'm not sure if we're going to be able to cross borders. I don't know what that's going to look like. I'm not sure. So just kind of just saw it and was like, okay, we have some options. I don't know what those options are. I don't know how realistic it is. There's no real team in New England, but we had some kind of options, right? And then a couple of weeks go by and things started getting better. Vaccinations started coming out. Then the guy emails me and says, hey, you can fly down to IMG will pay for about 75 of your coaching staff, student athletes, and support staff to all expense paid, go down to IMG, put you up in the hotel, feed you, and then send back to play a game. And I was like, holy crap. It was like the birth of the re-engagement renaissance. I was like, yes, we're coming out of COVID, taking a field trip. My other family, my Springfield Central kids and my Springfield Central coaches, we're going to Florida. I'm taking my kids to Florida. Some of our kids haven't been in a plane. Some of our kids haven't been to Florida. I haven't been to Florida in more than 15 years. I spent some time down there. We're coming out of COVID and we're going to be celebrating. We're going to have some good times, and obviously play a great opponent. So that's what I was thinking when he sent me that information. I was like, this is a great experience. So I was like, I think I should do it. So then I reached out to Coach Watson. Coach Watson is our assistant head coach. He's our offensive coordinator. He's a lot of things for our football program. He's a lot of things for our city. He's the head basketball coach for Springfield Central High School. He's the father of William Pop Watson. He's the Uncle Luke of the city. He does Springfield youth football. He's like a very special influence in the city of Springfield since his playing days at AIC. Someone that I look up to and bounce a lot of ideas off. Was able to talk to him and go through the pros and cons of potentially playing IMG because I'm crazy, right? And I don't like to make other people around me crazy and get into my crazy world and obviously Coach Watson knows me.
But it's a good crazy.
I don't know. Sometimes it's now things coming back to normal. Taking my daughter to the park and thinking about Central Catholic, it's like let me spend time with my daughter and let's enjoy this. Let's get some ice cream and stop thinking about it. But yes, it is a good crazy just because I'm so obsessed with the process and having our kids have opportunities and very loyal to my family as well. Just got to try to separate it. But COVID helped with that because of how much family time we did spend together. It's almost a blessing because of the amount of hours, amount of time we never did in a traditional, football program year. So so the craziness is something that I'm trying to work with and talk through and deal with. And obviously I love my wife and love my kids and was able to spend a lot of time through COVID, but now coming out of it, the craziness coming back, the sleepless nights and all that stuff. So talking to Coach Watson, he knows me. He knows, I'm a kind of roller coaster like this fall 2 season. He knows the good Brower, the bad Brower, and everything in between. And obviously I respect the crap out of him. So our relationship is special. So we talked about the pros and cons of potentially playing IMG. And obviously it was during our fall 2 season. So it was kind of like private. And, should we do it? Should we do it? So we had about, I want to say a 60 to 85-minute conversation. And everything from, words of all we have to do is survive 60 minutes to let's learn from all the schools that we had a different roster in college athletes from all the games, that games were closer than they should have been. And why were they? Should we use those techniques? So the conversation went from there to that to like, all right, we're gonna make this reality. You good? I'm good. We're gonna talk to the coaches. So we talked to the coaches about it, and all of a sudden, everybody's energy was a little tough during fall too. The schedule, are we playing or not? Are we got a COVID testing again? Are we going to survive this batch of COVID testing? We went into COVID testing with 85 athletes. We come out of COVID testing with 60 because of opt-outs and other situations and just the frustrations of the whole process. But we have a Zoom. That's what the good thing about
Right.
COVID is, being able to have Zoom and be able to meet and bring everybody together pretty quick. So after we had that conversation, we pulled the coach meeting together pretty quick. They talked about it. And then all of a sudden, you see all this coach energy, right? Like, oh, I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to track academics. I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to do this. And it's like, oh, really? This is some interesting energy. We need this energy for Central Catholic. We need this energy for Holyoke. We need this energy for everybody. You're willing to do that for IMG? Why don't we have this kind of energy and this kind of motivation or whatever you want to call it for every single opponent, for every single day, for every single student athlete? So, Bad Brower brought that up, but then Good Brower was like, hey, let's use this energy and, do the re-engagement renaissance and focus all this energy and all this excitement and let's be men of our words of what you're going to bring to the table and how much kids we can affect, because our kids need this energy coming out of COVID. And it made that conversation in that meeting, and we came, obviously me and Coach Watson were on the same page. We're going to do it. The coaching staff had that energy, and they were really excited. We have a combination of, veteran coaches and younger coaches. Some coaches that played in Western Mass, and wish they could have played somebody like IMG. Wish they could have did that and lived it and played college football, and maybe didn't have the opportunities our current athletes have for whatever reasons. But that excitement and their love for the kids and understanding what it could bring to the area and opportunities for our kids to be on the same field with those guys. That's where that energy came from. So it wasn't malicious. It was just kind of like, yeah, let's do it. Let's believe. Let's look forward to it and make it happen. So then from that conversation, obviously it was during fall too, so we still wanted to focus on, Minichog the second time. And I think at the time we thought we were going to play Holyoke, and that ended up getting canceled last minute. So it's kind of like, we're not losing focus. Like, we got to do that. So we're not going to tell it to the kids. We're not going to tell them. This is kind of in-house conversations. So we have these conversations. We had a plan. We're going to think about it, kind of holding it close to the chest. Obviously, it's a big secret. It's a tough secret, but it wasn't official because we had to get it approved by Dwayne Early. So that was my job. Coach Watson and I agreed, did it, come out the same room, we're on the same page, or come out the same Zoom, we're on the same page. Coaching staff, same thing. Energy is exciting. It's exciting for me, and obviously I think it would trickle on the kids just because of, they do a great job anyway, but just to say what they were going to do and, have those expectations was pretty special. Then I brought it to our principal, Mr. Tad Tokars, and he was excited about the idea. And then I brought it to Dwayne Earl, our AD, to say he was excited about the idea. And basically from there, I kind of linked up, the guy that prep school, prep logistics, gridiron, whatever the companies, I might be messing that up, with our AD. And then our AD got in touch with IMG director of football operations, and made it happen. And then whether it was going to be in Springfield or was going to be in Florida or in Springfield, they worked through the details to where it ended up being in Springfield for whatever reason. I don't even know those details, but I was still excited to have them come here. And obviously, not to waste any travel time during the season. It means a lot. So we can use all those minutes instead of traveling preparing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's obvious that, when you look at the program and where it is now, you can certainly you can put someone like that on the schedule because obviously there's a certain level of confidence on your part and your coaching staff's part in terms of where the program is and the type of commitment and the type of players you have. But talk a little bit about your experience at Springfield Central. How did you end up there? How did you end up getting the job? And what was the process of building the program into what it is today like?
So after UMass, my playing career, didn't have much family support. Obviously, had a lot of love, but my mother and father are separated. My sister, which is younger than me, that didn't go to college, I was living with her in Section 8 housing, and we were going through some tough times. Ended up moving to Florida to try to play some semi-pro, and was working out Bird Eye Macy's. Lived there from August to September, so experienced a little bit of hurricane season. Worked at Bird Eye Macy's, was making some good money, enough to pay the rent and eat, but wasn't enough to compete at a obviously to try to continue to play football, and I knew that.
Right.
So trying to stop playing the game, that was a very difficult process. Obviously, being in Florida was helped with the process, experiencing that weather. But then on Thanksgiving, when you're in a casino by yourself because your family's all in Massachusetts or Vermont, Florida is all good and stuff, but that's being at a casino on Thanksgiving by yourself. That's not supposed to happen.
Not ideal.
Not ideal. Not supposed to happen. Same thing happened in Christmas, and the weather's didn't change. It was weird. It was like flip flops and shorts on Christmas at a casino just by myself, and started getting itch. Had some family issues. Had to come home and protect Mama Bear. So I made a decision to just up and leave, and just left. Worked from Bird Eye Macy's for as long as I could and saved some money, and packed my car and drove back up to take care of my Mama Bear situations. And then, just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Obviously, get to finish the UMass degree, and was able to do that because I had some incompletes. So to kind of get out of a funk, a depression, a reality of, not living my dream of making it to the NFL and being able to take care of my family financially. That was something that, got some dark time to kind of got through that. But then finding myself, and I love the kids, and my mom was a foster mom, so I gotta, just reinvent myself and trying to figure out how I could work with kids, and coming from Northampton and walking on the UMass and earn the scholarship to become an All-American. I didn't make it to the NFL, but I was able to do some special things that I probably wasn't supposed to do. Not doing drugs and not drinking for as long as I possibly could, and training and believing myself, and just competing every day. So I, just talking to some people, and some special people, some mental health people, just realizing what the hell I really accomplished, coming from, Meadowbrook Apartments in Florence, Massachusetts. So I ended up applying to be a substitute teacher at Northampton Public Schools, Holyoke Public Schools, and Springfield Public Schools. And I got hired at Northampton Public Schools and Springfield Public Schools. But the freshman football coaching job at Holyoke was open, and I applied for that. So I got hired as the freshman football coach at Holyoke High School. So, real excited. Back then it was, I think this is the January. No, this is probably like March, April of 2005. $75 to work at Northampton High School, and Northampton Public Schools as a substitute teacher. And there's Smith location in Northampton High School, and then it was like $101 to work at Springfield Public Schools, and there was multiple high schools. And I did not want to work with elementary students. I wouldn't have been able to do that.
I've been there, man.
Yeah, so it was middle school or high school. So, obviously as that, my mindset, to have more opportunities, middle school substitute teaching opportunities and high school substitute teaching opportunities, want to do that. And I for whatever reason, I didn't get hired as a Holyoke substitute teacher. I never got an interview, never got anything. And at the time, I was kind of telling the whole varsity coach that hired me as the freshman coach, like, I want to be in. I want to be in with the kids. I want to be in, the high schools. I want to sub and work my way up. I want to be around them. I know the process from my experiences at UMass and what it's going to take, and we can do it from Western Mass, because all the athletes that had full scholarships from New Jersey, from Florida, from Detroit, California, and to even in my defensive line room that happened, and I was the host, a recruiter host, and to see like, how the heck did this guy get a scholarship? This guy he's terrible. Like, it's just like, he doesn't love football. He can't play in New England weather. He can't play in the Four Seasons. He's miserable. He's soft, and he doesn't want to win. So there's a lot of and I was a man child and an angry player that was good as a defensive lineman, but bad in the streets of Amherst. It was chaos on the field and chaos off the field, and didn't do anything too crazy to, ruin becoming a teacher, but did some stuff that people will never forget. And I'm trying to do it and make sure the kids are better than me and never do the mistakes I did and are better than me.
Which is part of what we do, right?
Living and learning, man. Living and learning. Yeah. When I was at UMass, my parents did not go to college, so when it was time, my third year in college, called home to ask what I should major in, and my mom was just crying, and she was just, "I'm proud of you there," and my dad just said, "I have no idea." So I just close to being a sociology major. I got these many credits. I got these many credits. One second. These many credits. One second.
Sure.
So these many credits, I'm gonna be a sociology major. So getting back to substitute teaching, April of 2005, I got, I don't know where my first substitute teaching job might have been. Commerce High School, might have been Kylie Middle School and Springfield Public Schools, because I decided to go that route. Got a substitute teaching job at Springfield Central High School, and Dan McLaughlin was close to retirement. He had stopped being the head coach, but his son Darby, our wrestling coach, was about to take over, and he was part of a tough time at Central. Central was 2-9 the fall of 2004. And when I was substituting, I was a long-term sub for a Spanish teacher, Mr. Cavallo. And I was asking the football players, what was Central's record? 2-9. I'm like, no way. I was like, no way. Because I remember playing Central when I was in Northampton, and just couldn't believe it. So whatever happened there, it was like, no. And then I'm walking the halls, and I ran into, I forgot what it was called. It was basically a AmeriCorps person, a worker. She was like a graduation coach from Springfield College. And I went to school with her. Her name was Sarah Gallo at the time. She's a different last name now. She's married, but I knew her. We knew each other. We were familiar with each other from UMass. And she's like, T. Brown was like, yes, get your name, but I do remember you. So she was like, hey, what are you doing? And I told her the thing. And she was like, hey, we just hired a new football coach. I want you to meet him. So we walked down to room 139. And it was Coach Dan McLaughlin's room. He was a health teacher. He was about to retire, and his son Darby was there. He was a PE teacher, I believe, or maybe a special ed teacher at the time. But he was there in the room, and Sarah introduced us, and we're talking, and Sarah, they were like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "Actually, that's me right there," because I was on. They had a UMass schedule on a poster, so I was like, "That's me right there." Like, no way. I was like, "Yeah, that's me," and I told them what I was doing there, and I was the head freshman coach at Holyoke High School, and they called me a traitor, and what are you doing in here? And I was like, I'm just,
of course, right?
So they were like, hey, we're looking for a freshman coach. I was like, you interested? Yeah, I'm interested. So we had a talk, and Darby kind of interviewed me on the spot, and I was the Holyoke freshman coach, but Darby interviewed me. He's like, yeah, I want you to be my freshman coach. And then Dan was like, no. Think about it over the weekend. I'll get you to be a substitute again on Monday, and then come back to me. So from that conversation, Dan walked me to the office, talked to Miss Cornella. She passed away. She was the head secretary. She's like, yes. Do we have any openings for substitute teachers on Monday? Yep. This person called out. All right, you're good. So I was living in Northampton at the time with my sister. I had the Holyoke playbook in my car. So on the way home, I called the coach, but the former Holyoke coach, and I wanted to let him know I wanted to meet with him. So, I drove to Holyoke High School, asked the secretary if I could meet with him, wasn't able to, so I gave her the Holyoke football playbook, told her to put it in his mailbox, was able to link up with coach later and tell him I resigned. I'm going to Central. And, that's how I went to Central. Met with Dan the next day. He mentored me, and we had some very emotional talks and transitioned from being a player to a coach and expectations. He really taught me the fundamentals of being a coach. I had my high school experiences with Coach Frank Tudrin. And obviously my college experience with Coach Don Brown was the defensive coordinator that helped me get a scholarship, and Coach Whipple was the head coach that stuck with me through my ups and downs throughout that, and was my head coach for all 5 years. Coach Spence was my defensive line coach. I had a lot of connections with, and the number goes on. Bloodbath McGrath was our D coordinator for a short period. Tom Masello was our defense coordinator senior. There were so many guys that I learned so many things from. That helped me with my, develop my coaching style and coaching philosophy. But Dan definitely helped me transition from player to coach. And then, I've been at Central basically from spring of 2005 to now. And then between spring of 2005, from that story to now, I don't know, it's going to take longer than 35 minutes to get there.
That's okay. We got time. How have your experiences helped you as a coach, but also helped you in the recruiting process? Obviously, you have built a program now that year in and year out is producing high caliber talent. How have your experiences helped you mentor young men in your program and help them get to where they want to go in terms of college football?
So never forgetting to have to, I believed in myself as a Northampton high school student athlete. And I believed myself when I got to UMass, and had a lot of anger. James Ahidabu had to walk on, and a number of Amherst football players, had to walk on or got scholarship offers in Maine, but wouldn't get offered in UMass. So there was so much anger, coming from Western Mass, and not being respected, learning the ins and outs and learning why, and learning the Western Mass coaches pay, to going to the National Coaching Convention and seeing what that's about, meeting people and learning, and visiting St. Thomas Aquinas and visiting Long Beach Poly, and so many things. But the anger that I had, I was like on a mission. I was on a mission to try to help our Springfield Central kids, our Western Mass kids, get the opportunities I wasn't for whatever reason. So the process to learn that and to just never forget that, and to be able to live that, makes it real easy to wake up every day and have the passion to give my best, to learn from all the things I've learned over the years, to try to get better. And then Walt Bell, the current head coach at UMass, when he came in to be the head coach at UMass, he taught me so much about relationships. And I never even shared this with him, but as a growing man, as somebody that was just so dialed in on trying to win a state championship, to be able to accomplish that, to be able to celebrate things, and to be able to have a 5-year-old son and an 8-year-old daughter, and all these things that happen throughout life, but just never forget those anger roots, and understand I absolutely love the kids and want them to be better than me, and create better citizens and have a better future. It just constantly learning and learning, and just basically just trying to do that. So if the class of whatever the first one that was actually able to have a football scholarship. So Coy Malone to Maine University. And I believe he was class of 2011. To learn from that, to try to, meet those college coaches and, to see the height, weight, speed, learn all that stuff, develop, take the notes, write it down, try to get better for the next class, And Cody Williams at Monmouth and his limited options, and I believe him, he was the ultimate competitor, and just absolutely loved him as a football player. And so basically, just, Corey Malone, Cody Williams, our administrator, our head principal, Mr. Tad Tokars, was the principal in charge of athletics when I first started, and now he's the head principal. To getting Coach Watson to come from Putnam to come to Central and be part of what we were doing, to get our strength conditioning coach, Christian Farrar, to get our DB coach, Julius Walker, into Central, to get our quarterback coach, Tommy Guy, into Central. So all these pieces, because I was always like stuck at Central, and it wasn't stuck at Central. It was just like, I need to spend as much time with the kids. We need a weight room. We need this. And I obviously love the kids.
You're gonna build a culture.
Yeah. And I really didn't know any better. And I'm a real private person. I don't really like to talk to people. Obviously, I respect you and obviously want to answer your questions to the best of my ability. But to understand what it means and to be able to just to build those relationships and to see guys change, to as a substitute teacher, to not have a school uniform, Springfield school, put in the school uniform and see, some drug things change and gangs things change, and to get guys to play football, more basketball players to play football in the birthplace of basketball, to play basketball on grass, to go to the spread offense. All those things are so exciting, and I'm just so locked in Springfield. So to add Tommy Guy, to add Bill Watson, to add Springfield finest Julius Walker, to add strength conditioning Christian Farrar, and to just assemble this team and help, and Tad Tokars be that, and to have Rich Williams, Cody, I trust you, Coach Brow. I see what you're doing. I see your passion. You're just relentless to not go to prep school, or not to go to the old cathedral. To we're going to go to Springfield Central High School. We're going to go to a public school. We live in Springfield. We're going to go here to make some of those decisions. That has been a true blessing to have all those people make those decisions, and it really is a community and a team effort. So there's so many times that I wish you were coaching chatting with Bill Watson or Rich Williams, who just recently retired from our coaching staff, or Tommy Guy. There's so many guys that deserve the credit, but I've been head coach for that long. Or for as long as that, but I definitely do not deserve the credit, all the credit.
Does the Western Mass kid in you come out when you decide to up the ante and come out this way and play people out here? Is that you and in your program trying to prove that, hey, you know what, we play some pretty good football, out in Western Mass?
That's a sensitive question. I'm very disappointed in Western Mass. Obviously, I will always represent Western Mass, and yes, to answer your question, it is. But instead of kicking Springfield Central out of the PVIC in Western Mass and making us independent, or get out of Western Mass to play Division I, or don't be in a league, that's the easiest thing the rest of Western Mass high school football programs should do and coaches do, and that's what it feels like is happening. And that's the exact opposite of what I want to happen. I want to always represent Western Mass and have those roots, and hopefully have a lot of schools represent Western Mass in the state champions. So for us to go to Division I, I'm excited because no other team in Western Mass is. So there's no other excuse, and for our league opponents that think they have, X amount of boys and we have Z amount of boys, and, all the different shenanigans and things that happen, to be able to play us and for us to have scholarship players and their roster not, it's almost like us playing Central Catholic because we're not Central Catholic. Central Catholic is a Catholic school. All their students aren't from Lawrence. Obviously, respect the crap out of them, like I said, but we are Springfield Public Schools. All our kids are Springfield residents. Yes, we have an enrollment of 2,200, but the facts are we have 75% of our students are need-based and get reduced or free lunch. We have a big ELO population. We have a big SPED population. And I'm not bringing that data up or those facts up to eliminate excuses. It's almost like I wish the rest of the Western Mass coaches would not give a crap about the allotted payment for to being a head coach, but would run their program. Obviously, nobody to run their program with the same passion for their kids, for the residents of East Longmeadow, for the residents of Northampton, for the residents of Holo, so on and so forth, to represent the area for the kids. So yes, I want to represent Western Mass, and I always will do. And yes, that person comes out to compete because I know from being in a UMass locker room, from being a walk-on to becoming an All-American, it doesn't matter where you're from. It matters how you work and how you believe in yourself. So that's what I want the rest of the Western Mass coaches to step up and do. And we got a couple of them doing it, but we got a lot of them not doing it. The majority of them not doing it is very disappointing. And, obviously it's hard because I'm 6'4", over 300 pounds now, thanks to COVID. I come off as very intimidated. Obviously Zoom's a lot better because I'm not, but I got a lot of passion for that. And I don't want to physically hurt anybody because I never want to get in trouble. Obviously I'm a role model for the kids, but at the same time, I want to strongly encourage the rest of our Western Mass high school football coaches to step their game up. No, don't kick us out. Learn from us, play us, ask what we do. My door is wide open. Everything I do is wide open. We invite other Western Mass coaches. Everybody has my cell phone number. Like, I will go to your high school. I will go to my high school, where I graduated from, Northampton High School, and help because I'm here for the kids. And I put that out. And some people have, called me out on it, and I follow through. Some people think I'm a bad person.
Yes. No, you could have said it. I mean, it is a family show, but whatever. We're coaches. It's what we do.
So that's a sensitive subject, man. I almost got a bad word out of me. Bad Broward.
Well, I almost did. I mean, I almost did. Now, you talked about your talent, obviously, and obviously, given your level of success, coaching is a part of it, but so is talent. You got to have the Jimmies and the Joes. We know that good coaching always matters, but talent also helps good coaching. So with that being said, talk a little bit about the kids you have coming back this fall. Obviously, you mentioned William Watson. You got wide receiver Joseph Griffin. You've got some kids that are getting both local and national recruiting attention. But who are some other kids that we need to get to know when we talk about Springfield Central football in 2021?
Travis Gauze, give me a 4-year starter for us. 2022 center, offensive lineman. Brennan Guy, 2022 tight end H-back. Chris Winslow, he's an undersized slot corner, but it looks like that's going to be the future of football, to be able to have as many of those guys can fly around and play to the whistle and be fast as possible. There's some other 22s that I got to see how their summer goes to see if they're college prospects, but those guys definitely stick out in my mind. 2023, Jaden Houlihan Bass, he's a 6'5", 315 offensive lineman, plays varsity hoops. He's going to offer sooner than later. He's actually absolutely dominating. I'm talking about 3.9, 4.0 in the classroom. So he's putting it all together. Had a tough transition from middle school to high school, and I mean tough, tough. He's a big kid, and obviously being a freshman or being the biggest dude in middle school and then becoming a freshman comes some of the challenges. But he's matured like crazy, and he's going to be ready to go. Very, very proud of his development. Mari Owens, I was able to coach 3 of his brothers, Aaron Owens, Adrian Owens, Anthony Owens, and now Amari. And all 3 of them Two of them ended up playing college football. One at Framingham State. AD, I don't know if college was for him. And then Anthony played at Worcester State, and now Amari, he's the biggest one out of all of them. So, obviously, so thankful to have all four brothers play 4 years at Central High School. That's an emotional, thing in itself, just so special, and shows how much I've been there a while now. It's kind of getting old, but it's so cool to share that. And Amari Owens is 6'4", 320 offensive lineman. So this fall 2 season was huge for him. He doesn't understand yet how much potential he has, and he's working his tail off, and we're going to put him in some uncomfortable situations in college football one day, so he can realize what he is and what he's got. Who else? 2023, Josiah Griffin. It's Joe Griffin's little big brother, and I mean, obviously Joe Griffin's obviously absolute man-child monster, some unbelievable athlete. Josiah is a defensive lineman, football prospect that, very thankful Boston College offered him, because he's going to be pretty special as well. He was able to earn that. Hopefully, that's one of the benefits of fall too, to having some film and to see what he was able to do. And as a defensive lineman, he had a pick that was a pretty special play. 2023, Messias Lee, linebacker. He's a good-looking guy. He's coming around. Justin Brown, another linebacker that is putting together and earned captain as a sophomore in our program, which is not many kids have been able to do that. So he's really made some serious gains from freshman to sophomore year. Who else? Those are the guys that just like what if I had this question before, I probably would have wrote it down. That's how it kind of rolls.
No.
But those some guys.
Listen, man, we're not going to make it easy on you here, Coach. We're gonna test you. We're gonna test you, man. No, but obviously, in all seriousness, and that's a testament to you and your staff as well. Obviously, the kids are putting in the time academically, athletically. They want it, which is huge. But it's also a testament to you and your staff. And I see it. I see your social media presence. I see the support around the program. Your coaches, your defensive coordinator. You guys are really – you do a great job of not just promoting the program, but also using all avenues to promote your kids, which is huge. It's a big part of it today. And when we talk about that and we talk about the presence of social media, I wanted to get your thoughts on kids. You hear a lot of teachers and coaches say – that kids have changed. In your opinion, do you think kids have changed from, let's say, 5, 10, 15 years ago? Have kids changed, or is it simply that times have changed?
A combination of both. And then obviously with the pandemic, it has absolutely sped us up into the future. So to stay connected with social media, with emailing, with Zoom, with whatever this avenue is. I don't even know what this avenue is until you email it to me.
This avenue is live. This avenue is StreamYard.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Microsoft Teams, Google Duo, obviously from, the old Facebook, I know this is getting older, to TikTok or whatever the newest thing is now, and everything in between. Obviously, being isolated, kids were finding ways to be kids, but for us to be remote and not be able to recruit the lunchroom and not be able to walk the hallways and see the incoming freshmen. We got names and have an idea, but don't not get to see them, and not how kids grow from 8th grade year to ninth grade freshman year, and unable to be able to do that. Got to adapt with the times. And just like me, I probably, if we did this 5 years ago, I probably wouldn't have answered any questions, but I got to answer questions for the kids and for our program. And then with social media, Coach Rich Williams made a Twitter account in 2009, and James Bermudez he's our girls track coach. He was an assistant coach when I first started. He's no longer with our football program, but he made that for me, and he encouraged me to use it, but I would not use it. Coach Rich Williams really told me, like I had to use it for the kids and kind of get into that world, even though it's not really my personality, to stay connected. And obviously, I look up to Coach Rich Williams a lot, and he's taught me how to be a father and how to be a brother and how to be a son. He's taught me a lot of things over the years. But social media was something that he really put me on and kind of kicked me in the pants to do, just because of how the kids were. So I just started doing that. And first it was kind of like, I'm gonna follow our guys and see what's going on and make sure no funny business going on. So, like, Coach, you followed me, thank you, but let me be a kid. It's like, no, that's a bad decision. Take that now. You know what I mean? So first it started off like that, and then it became networking and connections, and then obviously through COVID, it's like, oh yeah, we need TikTok, we need YouTube, we need Snapchat,
Mm-hmm.
we need every single angle, because some of our central linemen like Snapchat, and some of our central skill kids like TikTok. So I want to be able to connect and be accessible either way. They have my cell phone number, but I also want to be present on all social media. So if anybody ever got jammed up, now coming back to school or during COVID, like, I'm accessible. My kids, they can find me. Like, I'm not hiding. I'm available throughout the year. I'm accessible. Parents have my cell phone number. A lot of people have my cell phone number, and it's getting a little crazy, but it is what it is. Like, our kids, I'm always going to be accessible, and through social media, through my personal cell phone number, through my whatever. Like, wanted to always be that, and for our parents and guardians. So yeah, I mean, times have changed, the kids have changed, and COVID just kind of kicked us in the pants into the future. So we gotta, use this technology and not be stubborn, and try to use it to our advantage, and try to get an edge and daily edge. And that's every day starts at zero. Like, let's figure out how we can get better every single day. And if you want to talk crap about Snapchat, no, I'm on Snapchat. Who's on Snapchat? What's on Snapchat? Like that. I'm not trying to do any crazy videos, but I'm there. I'm in TikTok. I'm on all those things. You can find me, and I'm gonna find you, and make sure you're not doing anything goofy. Stay out of trouble.
Yep. Final question from me, Coach. Obviously, I mentioned this earlier. You also brought it up. You guys are making the move up to D1, of course. Brand new state playoff and new format comes into play this fall. Just your overall thoughts on the new setup, going to D1. What do you think that means for you, your program? Do you like the new format? Do you not like it? Just your overall thoughts.
I don't care. It's going to change again. It is,
probably
right?
will.
So it's like, all right, this is how it is. All right, this is how can we win a Western Mass championship? This is how we're going to win a Western championship. Long Meadow's been winning for this many years. This is all we can do. Great, awesome. This is the blueprint for that. Western versus Central Mass championship. How can we beat St. John's? How can we play St. John's? How can we even get to that St. John's game and not overlook the Western Mass championship? Whatever it is. Oh, we're in Division III. Why are we only in Division III? There's no Division I or II teams in Western Mass or Central Mass. All this crazy, all these things, and to help get our kids on all state teams through the Massachusetts High School Coaches Association, and it's like, to be stubborn with social media, to be stubborn and get more out in the community, and all the things that I've grown throughout my coaching career, and becoming a maturing man, because I'm still a kid at heart. I got to get more involved. I'm Toys R Us kid, whatever the new thing is. Yes.
You're an Amazon
whatever. Got it. Huh?
You're an Amazon kid.
Yeah, I guess so. Great. Yeah, I got an Amazon Prime package right there. So to all those things that so stubborn on, like, I'm never going to do this, or I'm not going to do this. So damn, I got to do this. I got to learn how to do this. I got to do this for the kids. I got to make sure our kids are going to stay young. I got to go to these Massachusetts Coaches Association meetings, because they have a lot of influence. And obviously we don't have a Western Mass presence. We're not going to have an influence, and they're going to make decisions. So right now I'm still at that stubborn thing where I don't care. I just care about our kids and our city and our development. I'm so dialed into that, because we got so many things that we deal with on a daily basis. It's hard to go to a Massachusetts High School Association meeting, in eastern part of the state. It's hard to do those things, but they're making decisions. And if you're not at those meetings, they're making decisions. So right now, I'm at the point where I don't care. Like, tell me what it is. No matter what division, what playoffs look like, we're gonna try to stay in the AA conference in a Western Mass, Western Mass schedule. Always want to represent Western Mass. And if another Western Mass team gets us, they get us, and good for them. And if they've been pro in the program, if we do what we're supposed to do, we do what we're supposed to do. But we're also always going to be able to have our kids play versus Western Mass and never forget those roots. And then any other independent games or bye weeks, we're not going to ever have a bye week. We're always going to look for the best opponent. And now, we already started doing it, even when we're Division III. Division II, Lincoln Sudbury, Division I, Everett, Central Catholic Academy, whoever it is. Like, we want to play the best possible Massachusetts teams we can. And if things don't work out because of bye weeks, or things don't work out for whatever reason, uncertainty with travel restrictions, then we'll go out state. But we want to play Massachusetts teams first. We are all about Massachusetts. And then obviously, very excited that Boston College High School, whatever happened, reached out to where we're going to go play them. Very excited about that opportunity and not having any bye weeks. And then obviously, what this IMG expectations with the Central Catholic focus, with Central Catholic being week 1, it's the Renaissance, the re-engagement Renaissance. So very excited to put all those things together. And right now I don't care, but I got to get over my own stubbornness and leave Springfield. I don't like to leave Springfield that often unless it's with my family on vacation. But leave Springfield and go to the meetings and hopefully, with all this Zoom and Microsoft Teams, I don't need to travel. I don't need to waste that time traveling. Massachusetts High School Coach Association meeting, paid my dues. I'm invited to the meeting, can represent Western Mass and spend that time. But right now, I do care, but I'm focused on our kids and our re-engagement and, finishing our academic year strong and making sure everybody's got food in a safe place here. And whatever happens with the playoffs or alignments or whatever, like we're gonna be the same people we are.
Well, Coach, this was awesome tonight, and thank you for your patience with my microphone change. By the way, we broke out a new microphone tonight for our first coaches chat post fall 2 season, but we had to go back to the oldie but goodie here. But thank you for your time tonight. Obviously, you have big fans with us at New England Football Journal. We love what you guys do out there with your program, with the way you promote the program, develop the kids. The proof is in the pudding. Your success on the field and off the field in terms of your players getting recruited and getting those post-secondary opportunities speaks for itself. And anything we can do on our end to help out Western Mass football, to promote it, to promote you guys, hey, man, that's what we're here for. And count us in, my friend.
Really appreciate your time and really appreciate this opportunity and love our kids and love our staff and love what we're doing. And every day starts at 0.
That's it. Well, Coach Brown, it's good catching up with you, and let's do this again down the road.
Definitely.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Have a good night.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Later.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this week's Coaches Chat. We'll be back again next week with our next guest. For the Coaches Chat, I'm John Serenitas. Until then, peace.